Now here I have a very good snippet of code that exemplifies the differences between var and let. So here you might notice that we have the same variable declaration. We have var foo up top, which is equal to 1, and then inside a condition we have another var, right, inside of the bar function. All right, and then we actually console log the foo. Now the question is, which value we're gonna see? Are we gonna see the 1 outside the function, or are we gonna see the 10 inside the function? Think about it for a few seconds and try to figure it out. If you've answered 10, then you would be right. If we run this, we get 10. But why exactly is that? And how does that relate to the let keyword? Well, first things first, we must remember that the var keyword is function scoped. But how do we get 10? Because, well, first things first, we have this foo that's, well, basically a global variable at this point that's like outside the function, and we know that it's going to be scoped for the whole program, right? That means that it's available for this function as well. But when we're calling this function, we are checking if foo is undefined. Basically, not foo is, in this case, similar to saying if foo is undefined. Notice the double equal here. So if we're saying that if foo is undefined, we are actually declaring foo again that's going to be equal to 10. And when we're printing, we can see that it's actually 10 that is printed on the screen. So it must be that we have executed the line inside our if block, right? That means that foo is actually undefined. But how can it be undefined since we have a foo here that's outside of the function and it's equal to 1? It's not undefined. What's the issue? There are quite a few things that you have to know in order to understand why we actually get 10 in this case. I have talked about a few of them in a video previously that you can check up top, but let's summarize. Basically, one thing that does happen inside this function is variable hoisting. What's variable hoisting? That's when we declare a variable further down the line, but the interpreter, instead of actually declaring it here, since, well, each variable is actually function scoped, the interpreter, when it sees this code, is going to actually place a var foo at the beginning of the function. This is something that is actually done automatically for you, right, by the interpreter, and you might not even notice at point in time. So now it makes more sense, right? We are declaring here the foo, and when we're checking if foo equals undefined, well, that's true. Of course it's true, because this foo doesn't refer to this one. It actually refers to the one that's been defined in our function, right? The closest one. That means that since foo is undefined, it's going to be assigned the value 10. And then when we're printing the value 10 on the screen. So these two things happen in this example. A variable hoist and function scoping for the foo variable, right? It's not scoped to this if block, it's scoped to the whole function. That's why we actually get the variable hoisting here. Now what happens if we instead use let in this case? Well, you might notice something very interesting. If we try to run this, what's going to happen? What are we going to get as a result now? Think about it for a few seconds. So what do we get? Well, we do get 1. And that's pretty obvious, right? If you know a bit of computer science, you might know that, okay, well, this foo is defined for this scope, right? In most other languages, a variable defined inside the if block is local to that if block, right? So that's how you would expect a variable declaration to work. And then when we're trying to print here the foo variable, it's actually this foo variable, right? And furthermore, we actually are not even executing this block, because foo is not undefined. Foo has a value. No longer do you get variable hoisting with a let, keyword. So these are kind of the two main differences between the keywords let and var. Again, you can check out the video I made regarding those two keywords. And I hope you got something out of this video. If you have any questions regarding this, please feel free to leave a comment down below. If not, well, thank you guys for watching and see you next time. Take care.